Hey guys, it's X, and today I'm going to be bringing you another of Peanut's Diamond or Bust replays. And here we have Peanut starting as the red Terran in the lower left here. She says good luck, have fun to her opponent, who is ARWilken, who is starting in the upper right here as the blue Protoss. So a very cordial beginning. I like that. I always like to see that in StarCraft. Now if we can get a GG from both players at the end, that'd be awesome. Now again, I have not seen this game. I never watch a game before I cast it. But I do think it bears mentioning one more time. If you haven't, excuse me, if you haven't seen who Peanut is yet, and you've been following my StarCraft on my channel, then you haven't been following it very well. Peanut is, she's actually working her way up from the bronze level to the diamond level, and she's put herself through a very rigorous training schedule to do so. I have previous games of Peanut's on my channel, and you can see her work on her game from bronze all the way up to the level where she is now. And I believe this game is a gold level game. But she did tell me that she played this particular match on a day where she played 40 games in a row to try and break into platinum. I don't know if she actually did get through to it. So Peanut's opening up, not walling off. I don't know if she started. I don't know if her opponent was random or if it was set as Protoss, but she's not actually walling off here. And I don't see her wall off all that often anymore. Maybe against Zerg. I haven't seen a game of her against Zerg though in quite some time. We have ARWilken just sending out his probe scout as well, beginning with the gateway, opening up with his assimilator. So pretty standard openings from both players here. This is the map Xel'Naga Caverns, and the important thing to note about this map are these two choke points right outside the natural expansion for either player. Peanut's SCV now getting in to get some scouting information, wandering around. I like that, wandering around to the bottom of the base to make sure there's no proxy tech, no hidden tech, no pylon or anything like that, and this probe wandering into Peanut's base, going to get shot down by a Marine most likely if it doesn't get out of there fairly quickly, seeing that she's picked up some gas. Oh, does he see that? No, he doesn't actually see that quite yet, but I'm pretty sure he can assume that. But this Marine's going to pop out. Let's go back to everyone's view. Open up the production tab. Sorry I didn't open that a little bit sooner, but it's better that I got it now than later in the game. So we have another gateway coming and a cybernetics core, so we're going to see most likely some zealots and stalkers coming out, SCV being chased out of the base. ARWilken critically has 2 probes off his line right now, whereas Peanut only has 1 SCV off the mineral line. So I know that's a small victory. Oh, this SCV's going to die. I know it's a small victory, but that kind of thing does add up in the end of the game. So that 1 SCV worth of minerals in the end could lead up to 1 or 2 Marines later, or a Marauder later, right where ARWilken doesn't want it, something along those lines. So both gateways now fully warped in. And we see both of them producing stalkers, and this one being chrono boosted. That's kind of cool. This one was built earlier, and the SCV's gonna die. It's got 10 health. This one was built earlier and started producing a stalker earlier, and this one was built later and began producing a stalker later. But it's gonna probably come out at the same time thanks to the chrono boost. SCV now has 5 health. Come on, SCV, get out of there! Run! We're cheering for you, dude. Get out of there! Oh nope, you're gonna run into those stalkers who ran right by you. There we go. SCV's dead. Finally, but Peanut got a whole heaping boatload of scouting information off of that SCV, and now she's got 2 Marauders ready for these 2 Stalkers that are coming in. Stalkers versus Marauders in a straight up brawl. The Stalkers will usually win. They don't have their concussive shells upgrade just yet though. I don't think it's going to matter too much. It's probably going to be ready by the time just as they reach here, but there's a Marine and a bunker coming down, and this probe here building a proxy pylon at the rear entrance to Peanut's natural expansion. This Marauder just absorbing the hits while the others take down that other Stalker there. 1 Stalker left remaining, and some Stalkers coming back down. It looks like he's looking to set up right outside of her base with with a proxy pylon to warp in units just right here, and kind of gain a measure of map control by doing that, just by setting up right outside of her base. And no, never mind. The Stalker's wandering. I can't tell what he's doing. Okay, they're wandering back. So still 1 proxy pylon back there. And yeah, the natural expansions here are fairly easily defended for Terran. Usually what a Terran will want to do is get a supply depot or an engineering bay back there to watch the rear entrance so that something like that doesn't happen and you can't just warp in something like Dark Templar. Because if you have your army way out here attacking the enemy and the Protoss player decides to warp in some Dark Templar, it could cause some trouble if you haven't left very much defense in the back of your base. But ARWilken is picking up a natural expansion now, so he's looking to go for a longer macro style game. Peanut has not yet picked up her natural expansion. It doesn't look like she actually intends to. She's got a Marine up here to scout for any kind of tricky airdrops or anything that you might and any tricky plays that Protoss might have, like putting a pylon right here and warping units directly into her base. We have a factory, 2 factories going down for Peanut now with the tech lab, so we're probably going to see some siege tanks coming in. 1 base play. She's pretty good at this 1 base strategy, but I think she needs to at least scout this out and see what she can actually see. She has no idea. She got a lot of scouting information early on, but at this point has no idea what ARWilken is going for. 2 stalkers was not enough information for her to continue going with what she's actually going for. I guess. Well, no, she hasn't even comp-sighted this yet. This expansion's going to finish, and he's going to be getting saturating it. These warp gates now finishing, so I'm expecting to see some use out of this proxy pylon in just a short amount of time. Several marauders, several marines, and the barracks is churning away more units. This factory now getting a 2nd tech lab. Okay, so yeah, we are going to see 2 factories pumping out tanks here. More stalkers being warped in from ARWilken, and a probe just sitting idle. I guess, let's see, he's got only 200 minerals in the bank. Let's see what their incomes both look like. Currently, Peanut is ahead, thanks to her mules. Yeah, her mules are churning out minerals, but it's not going to be that way for long. These probes are going to be able to get much more minerals per second than Peanut would be able to. Let's go ahead and go back to the production tab. And he's building nothing but probes right now. If you look in the production tab at the top left, and this probe coming out to get some scouting information on the Xel'Naga watchtower, and no probes here. Peanut sending her army out with a hurt marauder up at the front. Generally not a good idea, but siege tank with no siege tech. Critically, she has not yet researched siege tech. I don't know if you really need siege tech at this particular point, because they still do a decent amount of damage against... Oh, poor probe. Got taken out by that marauder. That 1 hurt marauder still wandering around, now clearing out the probes. Oh, concussive shell's going to slow down that poor probe. There's no way that it can get away. Bye, probe! You will be missed. Kind of, sort of, a little bit. And now a robotics facility being placed. So, Colossi, or maybe Immortals, to deal with these tanks. Tank does not have siege mode, and the troops from ARWilken are coming in from behind, so he's going to be able to take out these siege tanks with these zealots and stalkers, while the meat up in the front, the marauders and the marines, aren't going to be able to protect the tanks. Still doing a fairly good job of taking out these units, so that tank holding up, that tank living up to his name and tanking fairly well, but there's too many stalkers, too many zealots. 1 hurt marine coming in to reinforce, and several others as well. A smaller reinforcement pocket of units here coming in, but still no siege tech. And a shorter reinforcement point from ARWilken here means he's going to clean up this attack fairly easily. Peanut getting nothing accomplished here. Yes, she did take out some army, but that's what army is for. Army is there to defend your natural expansion, defend your bases, make attacks of your own. So Peanut actually not killing any probes, not taking out any buildings. So a fairly wasted attack there, and now she's considerably behind because she does not have an expansion of her own. And we've got, well, fairly saturated expansion from ARWilken here. More probes wandering out, probably to come take this position of the Xel'Naga watchtower. These stalkers leading up front. Peanut now picking up her natural expansion. I don't think she saw his, though. Let's get her view again. No, she did not see his, so she still has no scouting information other than the fact that he's got a lot of stalkers, which can be a fair amount of information as well. Picking up his assimilator, so he can be pulling out double gas. Another gateway going down. That's going to become a warp gate for him, most likely. And I still haven't seen any use out of this proxy pylon, and Peanut still hasn't scattered either. Several tanks coming out, and a 4th one being trained. So 4 tanks, and now they do all have siege tech, so things could be very different in the next engagement. And he's taken out his ARWilken has taken out his destructible rocks here at this gold expansion. If he decides to go for a 3rd expansion and Peanut can't take that, she will be in a very precarious position. But as I was saying earlier, these choke points are going to do wonders for helping Peanut defend her base, except for this 1 pylon. This 1 pylon is the wild card in the game here. She's got her siege tanks up on these on the ridge here, so she can begin shelling units coming in down this choke point. This one's very, very well covered, and this choke point's going to have to run in and get within siege tank range and marine range just to destroy, just to try and make an attack on this command center. We do see an observer looking overhead, so ARWilken's got plenty of scouting information. He's got both Xel'Naga watchtowers. Let's see what exactly he sees. Yeah, he's got both Xel'Naga watchtowers. He sees her base being built with a siege tank. He doesn't feel like he wants to move in quite yet. And he has, what, an Immortal? Yeah, I saw that being built earlier on the production tab. So he's got his Immortal, and he is picking up his Nexus at the gold expansion as well. Maybe spreading himself a little bit thin here. His economy is going to be very strong. I'm going back to everyone's view now, just so you guys know. Maybe spreading himself a little bit thin here. He's going to have a very strong economy, and not too long, but Peanut does have the superior army right now. She's got several siege tanks. She's got 4 siege tanks, several Marines, and more being trained and on the way, and an expansion of her own coming up. So right now, if they were to go into a straight up slugfest, I would give Peanut the upper hand. Although this Immortal could be invaluable in absorbing the attacks of these siege tanks, and I don't see any Marauders actually there either. Then again, you don't really want Marauders against Immortals, but you would want them for these Stalkers. So I guess in this case, the siege tanks are going to take the place of the Marauders in order to deal the necessary damage to these Stalkers. And we do see some more Stalkers being warped in and moving out towards Peanut's base, but Peanut moving out first. Peanut's actually going to take the initiative here and move in with her siege tanks. She needs to siege them up and get these Marines in front of them. She's got them in a fairly good position. They stem now. There are no medevacs overhead though to help heal them, but ARWilken is retreating, and 2 Immortals come in. 1 Immortal falling back. Oh, that's terrible. Immortals are not cheap, and they're there to absorb the damage from the siege tanks, and they can't really do too much damage on their own. So that was absolutely just a waste on ARWilken's part. And now Peanut, after having cleared out this Xel'Naga Watchtower, comes to clear out this particular one. And ARWilken is going to need to engage this force, probably looking to come around behind with these Stalkers to take out these siege tanks. That's a good move, but it doesn't look like he's actually going to be able to. This is actually a perfect setup here for Peanut. Siege tanks in the back. Siege tanks actually sieging up now. And look at this nice wall of Marines just absorbing all the damage for the siege tanks while the siege tanks do all the massive damage that they can. Terrible, terrible damage, in the words of Dustin Browder. But it looks like he is going to be able to clean this up. This Immortal taking the hits like it's supposed to from the siege tanks. And again, the shorter reinforcement point wins the day. And Peanut not getting too much accomplished. Again, another attack thwarted. And now ARWilken's economy is actually, well, I have him selected right now. He's got a lot of minerals and a lot of gas in the bank that he's not spending. He's throw down some more warp gates to start spending those minerals. Peanut, on the other hand, is making good use of her minerals. She just lost an attack force and now has another one already built up. This one is comprised, though, of siege tanks, Marines, Marauders, a medevac, and a Viking this time. The Viking, I guess, would be overhead to take out any potential Colossi, which is a good move. If there is a Colossus out there, again, she doesn't have a lot of scouting information on him. So if there is a Colossus out there, which there is not, and she doesn't know that. And actually, if you look up in the top left, we'll see Blink being researched for these Stalkers, so the Blink will be able to jump around on top of the siege tanks. But if there was a Colossus, then this Viking would do wonders. The Viking and the medevac also are going to be able to spot for the siege tanks, because they have longer range than they can actually see. And if you can get the siege tanks on the low ground here, then we'll be able to see the siege tanks shelling these buildings because of the sight provided by the Viking and the medevacs overhead. Lots of siege tanks coming out. Her natural expansion now fully saturated. Her main just about mined out. It's getting there pretty soon. Some supply depots being built in the back. A nicely built base. I do like the positioning of her supply depots. Her supply depots are nicely positioned. She can lower them so she can move around, but if enemies were to come in and begin attacking, there's not much they could do, because she could raise those up, put some Marines behind them, and that just leaves this one little funnel for things like Zealots and Dark Templar to maneuver around. Peanut now moving her force out. This is a very formidable army, and we don't see very much of a counter army for ARWilken. This is going to be very dangerous. He's finally getting up his gateways to begin spending all those minerals he has in the bank. He has a very strong economy, but no army to make up for it. So if they actually engage right now, Peanut taking the Xel'Naga Watchtower to get some sight and vision, make sure she's not going to be flanked. If they do engage right now, she's going to absolutely obliterate this army. 4 gateways producing 4 Zealots is not going to be enough. These tanks moving in, not even sieging up yet, and just taking out the Stalkers blinked in, but these siege tanks are not sieged. So all the blinking does, it serves, is just to bring them closer in range of these devastating siege tanks. And now Peanuts is finally going to gain some ground here and take out this gold expansion. We got some Hellions here. I'm sorry I missed those. I didn't even see the Hellions move out. Those things are sneaky. Those things are quick. Viking not having too much to shoot at, but the Hellions, a couple Marauders, and a few siege tanks are going to take out that gold expansion, and I don't see that there's a whole lot that ARWilken can do here. We see some Stalkers being warped in, but with these siege tanks in the perfect position, they can cover both choke points. Those Stalkers aren't going to be able to do too much. I think this is going to be game. Peanuts just moving in, these medevacs overhead, healing up the Marines and Marauders from the stem. That's really the only damage they were taking anyway. And the siege tanks just doing their job, making sure nothing can attack her troops from afar, and that's pretty much going to be it. There's nothing that he can do. Probes coming off the line to attack siege tanks. Probes are going to tank for what, one or two Stalkers? 2 Stalkers? Oh, but a lot of Marines and Marauders dying to the siege tank splash damage when they were attacking the probes. Probes are all gone, and his main is practically mined out, just like Peanuts was. There's not too much he can do, although he probably still has a lot. Yeah, he has a lot of minerals in the bank. If he wanted to, he could probably produce something. No, there it is. GG. Well, that's a very cordial ending. I like that. That was very good. That was a very good game. He really needed to do something more with his economy. That's really all that came down to. Peanut was able to, and that is incredibly important. You get minerals, you spend minerals and gas. It's like that in any game, whether you're playing StarCraft or an MMORPG or even Tron. If you have energy in Tron, use energy in Tron. If you have minerals in StarCraft, use minerals in StarCraft. If you have gold in your favorite RPG, use gold, because it does no good just sitting around. Alright, well, thanks a lot for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. GG, and I will see you guys next time.